I'm legally insane, and these here are some adult-sized diapers. You might want to consider putting some of these on right about now. I've given you the warning because I'm about to show you some Super Nintendo absolute hidden gems, bangers, and even some trash, guys. I even have some trash in here. I got a mix of everything. All of these games are recent pickups. I'm buying games all the time. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, look at all those Super Nintendo games back there. Don't you already have all of the Super Nintendo games? And believe it or not, I don't. There's a ton of games I still need. And one flaw with the Super Nintendo is a lot of the really good games are really expensive. But one positive is I happen to have bought a lot of those same games a long time ago when they were cheap. I've been telling you guys on this channel for a very long time, you got to get the games while they're cheap. PS3, Xbox 360, they're very cheap right now. And the prices have been going up. Nintendo Wii, oh frig, some of those prices have gone way up too. Ju-On the Grudge, if I'm saying that right. Check out the price on that one. That game used to be cheap. Nobody wanted that game. Well, I picked it up back when it was cheap. Actually, when I picked it up, it was kind of expensive for the time, but the price has doubled or tripled since then. But I knew it was going to go up. That's a great game, by the way. 2-player. It's got a 2-player mode in there. Yeah, check that out. That's a little bit of a hidden gem. Probably why the price is going up. So enough of that. Let's get started on these Super Nintendo games. First game on the list that's hidden behind these diapers. We're starting off big. Battletoads Double Dragon, Super Nintendo, not the NES version. This is the best version. This is in a protective case. I paid, this is a boxed version, but it's not CIB. Okay, that's the catch. This is not CIB. It's just CB, complete boxed version. But it has some... It has the little printouts. I'll show you. This box is kind of hard to get open, to be honest. It's a pain to get open. It's got a little tab that you got to open the tab, and then you can open the box. So what did I pay for that? I paid $79 Canadian dollars. The box is in really good condition. And when it comes to Super Nintendo, I don't play around. This is the one console that I want my games to be absolute mint when possible. And of course, I care more so about the better, more collectible games. But this is the one console I take very seriously to a maximum extent. Okay. And I'll even give you an example, too, right after I show you this game. There's the box. Came with a postcard. What is that, a registration card? That's got to be worth something. Reg card, bitch. Where's your reg card? Reg cards nowadays are worth big money for some reason. Friggin' reg card, I didn't even know that was in here. Trade West. Holy hell, man. It's a Trade West warranty. Does that count as a reg card? Probably. That's all they had back for the Super Nintendo, probably. It's got... Hey, oh, frig. Friggin' dropped it. It's got the Super Nintendo thing. Okay, it's also got... This looks like a Super Nintendo Power Super Power Club advertisement, I suppose. Pretty cool stuff. Does not turn into a poster, but it's got a mail-in. I guess you get a free Nintendo Power or something. Here's the game. Good label, good condition. The way I like it. I do not play around because Super Nintendo, I spent the most time on the Super Nintendo of any console. I was still heavily playing the Super Nintendo even after I had a Sony PlayStation, and even when I got a N64. And the reason I spent the most time on the Super Nintendo is because it was very RPG heavy and they had some of the best RPGs ever made. Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Gemfire, Breath of Fire 2, Secret of Evermore, Secret of Mana. How many more do you want? Chrono Trigger, although I never got to play Chrono Trigger. That's still on the list. So Battletoads. Let's talk about Battletoads. Price charts, CIB for over $200, and you'll be lucky if you get one for $300 or less, because they commonly sell for between $300 and as high as $450 plus dollars. But yeah, good luck getting one for under $300 Canadian dollars shipped to your door. Good luck. Are you going to have to pay shipping on top of that, or are you going to have to pay taxes? Because like I said, they commonly sell between $300 and $400. So what is this game? It is a very rare crossover by some miracle. It's a miracle this game was even made. I don't even know the history behind it. I know somewhere on YouTube somebody's done the history on how the hell this came to be. I'm guessing Rare probably contacted Technos Japan, who owned Double Dragon. I'm guessing that they approached them, but I don't know for certain. But it was developed by Rare. Rare owned Battletoads. Technos Japan owned Double Dragon. And so Rare developed this. They didn't publish it. It was published by Tradewest. Where's Tradewest? There it is. Tradewest logo. But it was 110% developed by Rare and only Rare. Technos Japan was basically hands-off. And if you played the game, you already know that it's based on the Battletoads engine. So it's not quite a Double Dragon game. It's more of a Battletoads game. So it is a beat-em-up style game with Battletoads mechanics, but the Double Dragon characters, Billy and Jimmy, they got all their standard Double Dragon moves. Spin kick, they got it all. But in a Battletoads style, with Battletoads style humor. The game is very humorous, just like all Battletoads games. So I had to get this game. I've had this game on my list for a very long time, and because a boxed version came up for a fair price, a very fair price, $79, I'll pay that all friggin' day. It would cost me close to that with shipping and taxes to buy a copy, just a loose copy on eBay for a friggin' good condition copy like this. So I wanted this game for a long time because I actually had this game back in the day. I borrowed it from a friend and I also rented it. So I have some history with this game. And guess what? I beat this game on 2-player with a buddy, because we used to play the hell out of this game. And I forced one of my friends to play the hell out of it too. You know what? I think he might have owned it because he was pretty good at it as well. Like, I wouldn't have been able to beat it on 2-player if whoever I'm playing with wasn't very good. So he must have been really good too. And maybe he was even better than I was, because I'm pretty sure he also owned the game. And hell, maybe we're playing his version. Maybe I borrowed his version. I don't quite remember how the hell I got the game, but I remember being at my house with the game when we finally beat it. We did not beat this on the first try. I do remember playing it a lot, and with this particular friend, his name was Simon. In case he ever sees this video, see if he remembers. We beat this game, buddy. We beat the hell out of it. I remember the ending. I remember everything. And you know what? It's a tough game. Although I don't remember it being that difficult, because I remember beating it. Who knows how many tries it took to beat it, but hell, if I beat it, I suck. I suck at video games. Unless it's an RPG. But, you know, how could anybody suck at an RPG? Because you can always grind to get better and then win just by sheer default because you're overpowered. So yeah, I'm not the best. I'm not the best at video games. I love to play them, but that doesn't mean I'm the best. That doesn't mean I'm the freaking wizard. But yeah, I beat the hell out of this game, and I'd love to beat it again. I would love to beat that again. I think you only get 3 continues, no passwords, and I beat that game. No Game Genie. You guys know I like to cheat with the Game Genie. We didn't use the Game Genie. I beat that game legit. All right, next up we got Sonic Blast Man. Super Nintendo. Sonic Blast Man #1. I own #2, by the way. This is a Taito game, beat 'em up game, based on an arcade game, but the arcade game is very different. So they're not. It's just loosely based on the arcade. The character is from the arcade game from 1990. This came out in 1992, if I remember correctly. What did I pay for this? Oh yeah, I paid up pretty big for this. $43. It's label-wise, it's in good condition, but I did get screwed a little bit, so I'm not too happy about that. But the backs can always be swapped, so I don't care too much. I care more about the label when it comes to Super Nintendo. Price charts for $64.23 Canadian dollars. You'll be hard-pressed to get it for under $75 with shipping and taxes, though. So $43 ain't bad. I'll happily pay that, and even though the seller screwed me and didn't show me pictures of the back of the game, and they do that on purpose, I've learned that one real quick. Anytime they don't show you pictures of the back, or even the top label sometimes, they're usually hiding something. But I'm alright with that. So here's the thing about this game. The reason why this game isn't, like $300, $400 like its successor, like the sequel. I haven't checked the price on the sequel in a long time, but it's guaranteed anywhere between $250 to $500. Who knows? I bought it a long time ago. But Sonic Blast Man 2 is significantly better. And the reason why this one doesn't hold its weight in comparison is because this one is only single player. Who decided it was a good idea to make a single player beat 'em up game? That guy needs to be fired and tarred and feathered by the rest of society. He needs to be banished to an island, forced to survive on coconuts for the rest of his life. Because that's like there's no reason that they couldn't have done that. There's no technological, no game console hardware issues with the ability to make two-player. So they had no excuses other than being lazy. And the other problem with this game is it's a little bit slow-paced. And I've played other beat-em-ups that are slow-paced as well. It is a problem with beat-em-ups. When the biggest problem with beat-em-ups is how repetitive they are, you need to spice things up to overcome that default negativity when it comes to beat-em-ups. That's a common thing amongst beat-em-ups. That's something that can never be eliminated because that's the nature of the style of game. That's the nature of the genre. So the good developers know how to spice things up and do things to make the game continue to be fun throughout the entire experience. They didn't do that here. So there's lots of specials and power-ups, but because it's a little bit slower and because it's not two-player, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the game, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend it. I got it because I'm looking to complete my set. I already own #2. Of course I'm going to buy #1. Plus it's not bad. I'd love to have it in my collection still. It's a piece of history. It's a piece of art. I'll still play it. All right, next up, I got an actual game that is 100% pure trash. Damn! Yeah. But I got it for a reason. I get everything for a reason, guys. I don't just buy trash without there being a reason. This is Bassmaster Classic. Absolute garbage game. But is it really garbage? Is it really? Think about that. Because I got this. I rented this back in the day. I rented it once. It was the only fishing game I ever rented in my entire life. And it might even be the only fishing game I've played in my entire life. And I don't even know why I rented it. I don't know what I was thinking. I think the back of the box probably got me that you could drive the boat around. Maybe that's what got me. I bought the game. I know nothing about fishing. I really didn't know what I was doing. I thought it was cool that you could get money and upgrade your fishing gear. So it kind of reminded me like an RPG a little bit. You got to grind and you got to upgrade your equipment. Thought that was kind of cool. Really didn't know what I was doing fishing wise. I was just casting the rod in random areas. I would drive the boat out and cast the rod out. I had no idea what I was doing. Wasn't very good at the game, but I kind of had fun with it a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. And I've always wanted to go back and play this game a second time ever since. So it's been like 30 years since I played this game. This came out in 1995. All right. Which is shocking when I looked that up. I thought it would have been a much earlier release. But no, it's a late release. And they had a sequel to this. Came out in 1996. That's a really late release for Super Nintendo. PlayStation 1 came out in, what was it, 1996? North America? So I'm kind of excited to try this again, believe it or not. And hell, maybe it's good. I don't know. I got to play it again. Let's play it again and see what happens. All right. Okay. NHL 1995. NHL 95. I got this because this was the missing game to my entire NHL collection. I now own NHL PA 1993. NHL, what is it called? NHL and NHL PA 93. NHL 94. NHL 95, which I owned back in the day as well, by the way. NHL 96, NHL 97, and NHL 98. So I own the complete set, and these NHL games are some of the best hockey games ever made, if not the best hockey games ever made, arguably, because one can argue that Blades of Steel is the best hockey game ever made. But if you take Blades of Steel out of the equation, it's going to be one of these NHL games. Some people say 94. Some people say, hey, they actually improved the game come arguably 95, 96, 97, 98. It's really a matter of personal preference, to be honest. But I own the whole set, and by the way, NHL 98 is not a cheap game. Look that one up. Try to get it for under $50. I made a TikTok video about that. And you know what? Some people were actually writing in the comments that game, because I said it's a very expensive game now. First of all, I paid $5 for this, and it's worth about $5. Price starts for $5. I would never pay more than $5 for this. Excuse me, sir, but have you looked at what happens to sports games, retro sports games? They all become worthless, and they're worth $5. You frickin' moron. So when an NHL 98 for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis sells for $50 to $75 Canadian, that is an expensive game. Wake up, you retard. $5. This is $5. NHL 98 commonly sells on eBay for $50 plus shipping plus taxes, goes as high as $75, $80. And especially for a good condition copy. That's a pretty big difference. Do you want to do the math? Every $5 up is a 100% gain. So a $10 game is 100% more cost than this. A $15 game costs 200% more than this game. Do the math. That game ain't cheap. I think I paid $10 for it. I actually bought it here locally at a garage sale. I got super lucky on that one. Guy had a whole basket of games. Just like completely random consoles, random everything. He posted it on Facebook Marketplace. I messaged him, said, hey, can I, instead of buying the whole box, can I just buy NHL 98? And he said, yes, but I'm going to charge you $10 for it. I said, sure, I'll come pick it up right away. Drove right on over there, picked it up, $10. Okay, next up we got, we got Super Game Boy. I paid up big for this one. $32 I paid. Price charts for like $34, $35. And this sucker's been evading me for years because I've been trying to get a copy for years and I kept getting outbid. And finally a copy came up for a reasonable price, $32. And it was in good condition. I took it. I was I had lost auctions on some other ones in my private auction groups. I'd seen it sell for as low as $20-25, and I kept wanting to get one for the same price. And finally, one came up. I said, screw it. And I had a bidding war, and I won for $32. Shipped to my door, by the way, because this particular seller, I don't save up enough games to get boxes. He ships them out right away. And why did I do that? Because I can finally play my Game Boy games. Because I refuse to play Game Boy games on a handheld Game Boy. I don't like doing that. I like sitting down in a chair on the big screen with a controller. I got Donkey Kong Land that I can play on this, that I've been waiting to play. Got Harvest Moon 3, very expensive, rare game. I've got Bionic Frickin' Commando. This is this Game Boy Color? This might be Game Boy Color, so I'm not 100% certain if it'll still work. I don't remember. And yeah, it is Game Boy Color. I've actually never tried to play a Game Boy Color game on a Super Game Boy. I don't see why it wouldn't work, though. Should work. And lastly, I got Batman the Animated Series, one of the best Game Boy games on the entire Game Boy. This is a Konami game. Old school Konami, guys. Doing it big time on the Game Boy. Konami's making bangers left, right, and center back in the day. They're even making handheld bangers back then. What happened to Konami? It's like they lost their touch at some point. They still make good Castlevania games, at least. Although they haven't. When's the last time they made a Castlevania game, though? Frig, I don't think they've. I don't think. Yeah, do they even make them anymore? They should be pumping those things out like candy. All right, last on the list we got Super Widget. I rented this back in the day, and I've wanted this game ever since. So what's that been? 30 years again? I've been waiting for Super Widget. It was very rare that I would rent games that didn't fit the fantasy genre or that run and gun, Contra, heavy action type of game. So this was a very rare and oddball gem for me to have spent my hard-earned money to rent this. Guys, you have to understand, when I went to Rogers Video to rent games, which was my go-to place to go, I preferred Rogers Video over Blockbuster because Rogers Video is right by my house. I could ride my bike there. Hell, I could walk there, and I did walk there a lot. But I would go there, and for me to spend $5 to rent one freaking game, I would sit in that store for a minimum of 2 hours, for starters. But I could sit in there for up to 4 or 5 hours deciding what to rent. That's how serious renting a game was to me, because I didn't have a lot of money. Okay, I knew that renting a game was like a life or death decision. So this was a very interesting choice for me. But obviously I finally caved at some point. I picked it up. It looked friggin' awesome. I do remember that. But when I got the game, here's what I remember. I remember being disappointed. I remember thinking it was really freaking cool because there's so many power-ups. And by the way, there's over 12 power-ups. No, there is 12 power-ups, I believe. And every power-up can be upgraded to a super version of that power-up. Okay, so every version has a second form. It's like Dragon Ball Z. You've got a second form. You go in Super Saiyan, now you're going Super Saiyan 2. Completely new form, okay? And just like Mario, that's an action platformer. Just like Super Mario, if you get hit, you lose your power-up and you go down one level. So if you're at your level 3, which is your upgraded power-up, you'll go down to the previous power-up, you get hit again, you go down to standard widget. Okay. Action platformer. It's an Atlas title. And everyone knows Atlas usually had low print runs. I'm actually a little bit shocked this game doesn't sell for more or isn't worth more, which, by the way, I paid... What did I pay for that? I paid $28 price charts for $31.82. Commonly sells for $40 or more Canadian dollars on eBay. Came out in 1993. It's based on a cartoon. I know nothing about the cartoon. I didn't watch the cartoon. When I rented this back in the day, I didn't even know the cartoon existed. The only way I found out the cartoon existed was when I went to look up what year this game came out, and that's when I found out, holy hell, it's based on a cartoon. Well, obviously the cartoon wasn't popular where I was. So maybe it didn't air where I was. Maybe it only aired in certain regions. So the positives on the game: graphics get an 8 out of 10. Very colorful game. 8 out of 10 on graphics and color. Power-ups get 8, 9 out of 10, maybe even 10 out of 10, because there's so many. Over half the fun of the game is just playing the game to see what the next power-up is going to be. And oh yeah, by the way, I remember bringing a friend over when I rented this to show him the game because I wanted him to see these crazy power-ups. It's like, holy hell, they're so interesting. And it made the game fun. But the negatives are that the game, to me, seemed very slow. You move at a very slow pace. There's no run button. And the jumping mechanics were a little bit weird. So I guess you could say the play control wasn't very good. You kind of felt heavy and bulky a little bit when jumping. A little bit slippery. They probably did that on purpose. Like, looking, that now that I'm older, I look at that and I see that as a design choice. So I don't have a problem with that per se. But I do remember, the slowness of the game turned me off. And maybe people complain that it's too easy. That you can beat the game, as an adult, you could beat the game in one sitting. You don't even have to try. The bosses are easy. The patterns are easy. Well, I don't mind that as an adult. I don't mind that. I like easy games now. I'm an old man gamer. I like to relax when I play my games. But yeah, I could definitely see the younger me, and maybe that was one of my complaints, because I barely remember playing the game. So maybe I thought it was, 1, you move too slow, and 2, it was too easy. That's certainly a possibility. So we're going to go back and try it. Let's give her a go. We're testing out Super Widget on the original hardware with the original Super Nintendo controller. We're going to test and see for ourselves. What's up with this game? Is it really a bad game, or is it perhaps a hidden gem that gets misunderstood and or just not everybody's cup of tea? Because I like easy games. Let's see what it's like. Let's see if it's like how I remember it. Because I had a love-hate relationship with this game. Okay, there's the force field power-up. This is your standard attack. Oh, frig, I already got hit. I think that took a life away. Because you can only take one hit when you're in this form. So the first thing I notice is that it's not as slow paced as I thought it was. Like, I'm moving pretty quick. You run fast. So here's the first power up. Alright, get up there. Don't know what the blue thing does. That's another power-up that'll upgrade me to my next form. Ah, frig. Well, that one didn't count. It's obviously not as easy as I thought it was going to be. It's rather embarrassing to die so easily. But I was rushing through the level. I'm going to be more careful this time. But considering how easily I died, you know, this is no Sesame Street game, guys. The power-ups certainly help. Pretty good graphics, very colorful. Pretty easy once you get the hang of it, I'll admit that. I know how the game operates. You can't just go running in like Sonic. This attack even has a homing missile attached to it, so to home in on enemies. Here's our first boss. Whoa, oh, frig. See how I was able to... I don't know if he actually dies, because it's making me go right to the exit. So I don't think you're necessarily supposed to kill that boss. Oh, there's 2 exits there. Looks like a secret one at the top. Oh, hell yeah. I'm just gonna pummel this boss. I think I'm maximum power robot here. This is actually the level 2 robot. I think level 1 only shoots 1 bullet. That was an easy boss. Well, the bosses are definitely overly easy. Oh, dang! Oh, that was the level 2 squid power-up. So you kind of get the feel for the game. The power-ups are really where it's at. I kind of like it. It's nice and relaxing. I got no problems with this game. I would recommend this to anybody, unless you're into really hard games and that's like your only thing. OG Super Nintendo controller. Got the microphone up against the TV. It's a cheap $30 microphone, so it's not going to do the music justice. 1993 rare. I beat this game. I beat the hell out of this game. I will be... I guess by default you gotta be the Battletoads. I'm gonna be rash. Oh, what the hell are the buttons? Okay, jump. Holy hell. Oh my gosh, yo, come on, I'm just learning the buttons. Okay, punch is B, Y is jump. I think there's only two buttons. I know you can run though. I remember that. Oh, frick, come on. Yeah, there we go. See, you got that. Some power-ups up there. Oh, frig. I knew that was going to happen too, by the way. Okay, so... Man, I thought there would have been another button. No. Alright, let's see if we can headbutt somebody. I remember that. Oh! Okay, so you can grab them if you get close enough, is my understanding. Yeah, there we go. Oh, snap. I'm not sure how to get out of that. Oh. Hey, I'm not expecting to beat it on the first try, alright? I already beat this game. Oh, the horns. Yeah, I remember that. See, get back into the groove. I told you I beat this game. I remember this guy. Yeah, I remember you. See? I remember. I know what I'm doing. Oh, come on. Okay, so don't grab those guys when there's two of them. You gotta learn the tricks and you'll beat the game. See, this guy you dodge, you don't even attack, you wait for him to attack. Oops, messed up there. Messed up again. There we go. It's finicky on the distance away that you have to be. I'm just waiting for the boss and beat this whole level. Double dragon boss, I believe. Yeah, see, I remember. Still got it. Oh, frig. Oh, what the hell, man? Yo, that guy's... How are you supposed to get anywhere near this guy? Oh, come on. Oh, see, now it's my turn. Oh, maybe not. It's probably easier with two people, to be honest. When he's attacking one guy. What the hell, man? Oh man, I can't even get close to this guy. There's gotta be a secret to beating this guy. What the hell? Alright, well, you get the idea. Hey, I beat the game, I'm not kidding. I did beat this game. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games. And I'd like to do that before they put me in prison.